Who is, by the way, lurking in the shadows trying to catch you? You've mentioned FBI, Secret
Oh
Service.
yeah.
You mentioned, I think I've heard you mention U.S. Marshals, which is
US Marshals.
interesting. Cops in general, the police, CIA. I guess CIA is international
Yeah.
only. FBI is internal.
Yes.
Okay. Well, so who is, when you're doing this, who are you afraid of?
So by the time I've gotten to Atlanta, within 4 or 5 days, the FBI raided my office. I guess I kind of missed that.
Back in
So
Florida.
back in Florida, when I left and drove to Atlanta and left, remember the FBI was going to show up a few days later.
Hmm.
They were going to arrest me.
And they did.
They did. They showed up like I left on a Sunday night or something because for some reason in my stupid I thought, well, they won't arrest me on the weekend. Like they don't work on the weekends. So they came on like whatever it was, like a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. Like within a few days, they come in the office, they raid it, they're looking for me, but I'm gone. Nobody knows where I am. And so now I'm surveying the homeless guys, and I turn around and I'm ordering their documents. And as their documents are showing up, I'm going to different states and getting IDs. So I'm going to Florida. So over the course of this whole thing, I've had 27 driver's licenses in like 7 different states. I've had 24 passports, because if you're going to get the driver's license in the guy's name, you might as well get, or an ID even, you might as well get a passport, because a passport's not difficult to get. They don't fingerprint you. All they're doing is saying, this is your ID and were you born here? And then they run a check. And if it comes back or it doesn't. And back then you could do it expedited, and I'd have it in like 2 weeks. Like now it takes like 90 days or 60 to 90 days to get one.
And if you have multiple ideas for a single identity, that's more proof.
Right. So
wait, what number did you say? How many, how many IDs? How many identities?
So I've had over 50 identities, but I've had 27 driver's licenses issued from state DMVs, Department of Motor Vehicles.
So like legitimately.
Legitimately. I walked into the DMV, said, hi, my name's Michael Eckert, and I just moved here about 4 weeks ago. Here's my lease. And here I lost my driver's license, bro. Like I don't know what I did with it. I don't know what happened. I don't know. And they're like, no, it's all right. What do you have? I need a proof of residency. Well, I have my lease. Oh, okay. I need a primary. Okay, here's my birth certificate. Okay, and I need a secondary. Here's my social security card. But I also registered. I registered to vote. My girlfriend made me vote immediately, and she said I would need it. Oh yeah, it's perfect. You're good. I don't even need that. Okay, great. Stand over there. Pay that person. They call your number, 275. 45 minutes later, you go, you pay your $25. You stand in front of the screen. They take a picture. You got a driver's license. You walk out. It's still warm. It's beautiful. It smells like pop plastic. It's amazing. And so I'm opening up different bank accounts in these guys' names. And just
Well, what are you mostly doing with the identities? You opening up different bank accounts
right now?
Are you doing a credit, starting to establish credit or not?
Some of them, like I might order secured credit cards. So I can't get credit. I'm building their credit. Like it's not helping me in any way. I'm just sending out $500 to get a Capital One card or a Bank of America secured credit card, whatever. So I'm building their credits, but not all of them. Only a few, because although I'm collecting them, I'm also going to be moving soon. I'm only here to get a few $100,000 and move. I need some kind of a base. So I don't want to start getting credit cards and building up a history in Atlanta in anybody's name. But I am getting driver's licenses in other states. So I'm in like North Carolina, South Carolina.
What's the primary method of income here when you move to a place? South Carolina, how do you make 100,000 at this time?
Oh, well, right now I'm living in this guy's house and I satisfied his loans. The house is worth 200,000.
Got it.
So what happens is one day we go and we check public records. Remember I told you it takes months for it to show up, and it shows up. He's got no mortgages on the house. So now I turn around and I make a fake ID in the name Michael Shanahan. And I'm living in his house, but I have no credit, right? There's no credit. So I've got the ID. I've got a social security number, and I order some secured credit cards in his name. So if you pull that credit profile, it shows up saying he's got some credit cards, but they're only a month or two old. So I can't go to like Bank of America. I mean, I could, but I needed to get the money as quick as possible. Like I want to get out of Atlanta. So, and at this point, by the way, there's multiple articles showing up in Tampa. So the St. Petersburg Times is writing multiple articles about me
with your face,
with my picture. Yeah. But it's honestly, it's not pre-internet, but it's post-internet, but it's in its infancy. Like nobody's, it's not huge. And honestly, it's a local newspaper in Tampa. Mm-hmm. It's not that big of a deal. Like I'm not concerned about that so much at this point. What I'm concerned about is getting a chunk of money and just moving on and kind of reestablishing ourselves in a better way where we're not living in a building that we're going to be committing fraud in with our house. So, but I'm living in this place. I make a fake ID in the name Michael Shanahan, and I call up three hard money lenders. A hard money lender is a guy that lends his own money or other investors' money on property, kind of like a bank, but he's lending his own money, so he doesn't have to really meet the banking requirements. And he can charge a much higher interest rate. These guys are charging 12, 13% interest, simple interest. And they're only lending you a much lower percentage of the value of your home. So they're not lending you 90% of the value. They're lending you 65%, 60%. So I call three of these guys. They all come out to the house at different times. And each one of them says, I'll lend you 100,000, or it's like 150,000, 150. Like they all lend roughly 150,000. So we schedule three separate closings. None of them know about the other person. Yeah. So what I do is I close one loan on, let's say, Monday, and then one on Tuesday, and then one on whatever, Wednesday or Thursday, or they may have all been the same day, to be honest, but I don't remember. The point is, I go to three separate title companies or real estate attorneys, and we close, and I get checks for, after costs and everything, the total ends up being roughly 400,000. So I've got 400,000. Becky and I run another scam in Tallahassee, Florida, and we get like 50 grand. And plus the 80s dwindled down to close to nothing because we had gone on several vacations. We went to like Bermuda, and I think we went to Jamaica. We actually stayed at the Ritz in Jamaica. So it was very nice.
You and Becky. So Becky turned out to be pretty good in terms of scams on the road.
No, she was useless. She was horrible. And she just spent money all the time. And what I realized too very quickly is she's bipolar. So she's bipolar, and she's absolutely insane. She smokes pot all the time.
Did that matter for you personally, or did it actually affect how good you were able to do these particular scams?
It was that she was the type of person that would start an argument at 1:00 in the morning, and scream at the top of her lungs and get the cops called.
Okay.
So I can't have the police called. I can't get taken downtown and fingerprinted. I can't have the police showing up. I don't know who's looking. We haven't had plastic surgery at this point. We're still pulling money together. So,
oh, Becky.
Yeah, Becky's a problem. And at some point, we send her to a psychiatrist, and they give her, they put her on Zoloft. Mm-hmm. And she takes it for like a month or two, and then she stops taking it. She thought she was all better. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not all better.